Hey there, YouTube. We're back with another video. In this video, we're going to cook on the wood burning stove. As if we were having a power outage. We're not really having a power outage, but that doesn't change the way we would cook. Now, ideally, we would just cook our meal on a camp stove, like these. But everyone might not have a camp stove or fuel for one, or for some reason they may not be able to purchase fuel. But anyway, you know, that's how you would do it ideally, but we're going to do it on the wood stove because that's the way we want to do it tonight. Now, YouTube, I have to take a minute and say that I'm not cooking a traditional meal from the 1800s or early 1900s. This video is just to show that yes, you can still cook on a wood stove in modern times without much trouble if you had to, or even if you just want to. And y'all gonna have to deal with me reading from a script here. I wrote this out so I wouldn't be stuttering and skipping over stuff that I wanted to say. Lastly, I have to say there's quite a few videos here on YouTube that are entitled Cooking on a Wood Stove, but most of them don't show any cooking at all. Some don't even have a fire going in the stove. Truth is, I only found two that actually show any cooking at all. One was literally 3 minutes long and didn't show any prep work. The other video, the lady talks, then cooks. I left a comment on her latest video asking if I could shout out her channel, but I've not gotten a response yet. When and if I get a response saying it's okay to shout out her channel, I'll link her video in a pinned comment. Okay, y'all, now that's the end of the script, and so let's just go ahead and put that away and get started. No, you know what? It wasn't the end of the script, but all I think else was gonna say was tonight we're gonna be cooking Tennessee Pride hot sausage, a cup of rice, and then we're gonna put that into 1 can of chili, just like we would, a quick, simple meal, just like we would if we were having a power outage. Okay, so let's get started. Before tonight, YouTube, at least once every year, I would cook 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 meat on the stove, but I've never actually bothered to attempt to cook a full meal. So I think we need to first start by getting that pan of water off the stove and stoking the fire. So let's get that done. Y'all, that's getting just a wee bit warm on my hands. Let's just get this all out of our way. By the way, YouTube, I'm purposely trying not to cut the camera very often so y'all can see what all actually got to go into cooking like this. I'm sorry if it hurts the quality of the video, but I want to show everything. I don't want to show y'all just a little goofy 3-minute video. Find us a slightly larger piece of wood here. Okay. Alright. YouTube, now we need to go over here. While that fire is getting going pretty good, we need to go over here in the kitchen and get the meat prepped. Give me a second. Well, let's move y'all in a little closer here. Like I said, I'm purposely not cutting the camera too much for this video. Okay, we've got our meat already in the pan of water there, defrosting. Okay. We'll be needing this pan again. And by the way, that water wasn't that the water was sitting on. It was not on. It was just sitting there, so it wasn't in the way. Sorry to walk in front of the camera like that, YouTube. I use a pair of scissors to open sausage. That's just the way I prefer to do it. Set those out of the way, because then you can get your sausage out like this. And you don't have to handle it too much with your hands. That's something that when I cook, that I try not to do. I just not been real big on handling food with my hands. Now I gotta take the rag and wipe the grease off my hands, because no matter how hard I try, you still gotta touch it a little bit. There just ain't no getting by it. But you certainly try not to handle it very much, or at least I do. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing or not, but you know what? In today's world, with COVID being a thing and me just getting over it, I was in bed sick as a dog, YouTube, for 12 days, and then another 3 days of being just, sick, but not, actually in the bed sick. Okay. I don't normally put any extra grease in sausage, because, it's greasy enough. Okay, let's go check. Let me go check the fire real quick. Y'all stay right there and don't go nowhere. That good, dry, half-rotted wood we're using this year catches light, and burns pretty quick. Okay, I need now to get 3 cups of water in there and 1 cup of rice. I'm probably not going to season the rice, because the sausage and sausage and the can of chili that we're going to be using kind of makes it where you don't really need to flavor the rice in any way. Okay, now 3 cups of water. Let me just step over here to the sink and get 3 cups of water. Now, YouTube, I've got to step around here and grab some cooking oil for the water. I probably should have had all this done before I started filming, but you know, I wanted to show everything. I guess I probably should have thought a little better about showing y'all how I'm not a model of efficiency. Okay, we've got a little bit of generic vegetable oil that I buy at Food Depot in the water for our rice. So we're just gonna go ahead and put this away because we won't be needing it again. And again, we'll be well, the can of chili we're gonna be using is Dollar General brand Chestnut Hill chili. And I don't know how the label got tore like that, but it did. But anyway, I've eaten it before. It seems to taste okay. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and move y'all back over there by the stove so y'all can see what's going on, and then I'll start the process of cooking the meat. Hold on, YouTube. As you see, YouTube, the fire is going pretty good right now. So we're going to go ahead and get our stuff started here. First of all, let's grab this here. I don't know what you call this thing, but you use it to pick your eyes up. Well, I couldn't find what I was looking for there, YouTube. So, you know, sorry, but sure enough, old cast iron frying pans, they would have a ring on the bottom of them. And that ring would coincide with these openings in the top of your stove, so you wasn't letting so much smoke out in your house. That's what those rings on the bottom of the sure enough old cast iron is. I don't think they make them like that anymore, but I could very well be wrong. And I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough room to put both on at the same time. Okay, let's go ahead and get our fork out of here. Okay, we'll just grab our chair here. case you're wondering, we're just trying to get our water hot so our rice will cook a little faster. If you're wondering what I'm doing, YouTube, I'm taking my jackets off because I'm getting hot. In one of the videos that I watched, the lady was talking about her wood stove, and she had an actual wood-fired cook stove with a flat top on it. And yeah, I can see I'm gonna have to do some change in here. Dang it! Hold on, YouTube. Let's just grab us something here to handle those pans a little better. Can't believe that meat hasn't started to sizzle yet. Damn if it ain't getting warm in here. Let me go turn the fan on to circulate this heat, YouTube, so I don't get overheated and pass out on you. If y'all can hear the fan running in the background, I'm sorry, YouTube. And it looks like our meat's starting to sizzle. In one of the videos I watched, the lady had sure enough, one of them big old wooden, wood-fired cook stove with a flat top on it. She was talking about seasoning the top of this thing and actually cooking on it. YouTube, I don't know if they actually done that back in the old days, and I don't actually suggest doing that. Because if that old grease and everything that's gonna always be there on top of that stove, if that stuff ever catches fire, you might have a pretty big problem. At least with a pan there, if it overheats, you can throw a lid on it and put the fire out. Or at least contain it enough to get it outside. But anyway, to each their own, I guess. And these old stoves, they've burnt down quite a few houses over the years. That and fireplaces. And that's something that, all of us need to take into consideration there. I gotta get away from this heater, YouTube. It's getting kind of warm in here. Normally, when we're just heating the house with this thing, I don't have that damper open like that. Because, it can actually get so hot that it could, well, it's actually turned red hot on me a couple of times over the years. Maybe 3 times in 12 years. Anyway, that's something that you don't want to happen. I usually keep the damper, which you can't really see it, I don't think, but the handles right there, I usually keep that damper closed. I think that's what we're going to do now. That should slow to keep the fire in the box a little bit better. Won't be as hot, but it should keep it in there a little better. And by the time we're done cooking, YouTube, it'll be over 80 degrees in here in my dining area. Well, this used to be the dining area before we moved the table out of here because of the carpet. And my dining area, my kitchen, and my living room will be over 80 degrees with this much fire in this thing. It was about 68, 69 when we restoked the fire. If I remember, I'll try to check the temperature when we're done cooking and tell you, oh, gets the front of your pants warm, and try to show y'all, tell y'all the exact temperature in here. I meant to show it when we started the video, but yeah, it didn't really work out that way. I think YouTube, what we're gonna do is go ahead and move that pan of water off of here. That way I can have a little more room to move that eye around. Well, that pan, that's taking entirely too long to cook. It shouldn't take that long. Which hell, it's almost hot enough to cook with. Well, it is finally sizzling, so we might just go ahead and leave it there where it's at instead. What did I do with that cup of coffee? I know I brought it in here. Huh. See if that I can hear it sizzling a little more. That back eye might actually be a little bit warmer than the front eye. The pan of water that y'all saw me take off the stove before, I keep that big old pan of water on there, and the reason that I do that is because heating with wood is a dry heat. It will dry your entire house out, and to the point that things that normally wouldn't be a fire hazard could become a fire hazard. So I keep the pan of water on there to keep moisture in the air and keep moisture and humidity in the air. That's the reason that I do that. Now that meat's getting pretty near done. It's actually sizzling good now. Let's see if y'all can hear it, YouTube. I'm gonna move the camera in a little closer. Can you hear it sizzle, YouTube? Another thing that I might suggest if you're going to be cooking on a wood stove, you may want to look into getting one of those thermometers to be sure that your meat's actually getting up to a safe temperature. You know, that way you're not potentially exposing yourself to something that you don't want to, expose yourself to. I never had a lid for this pan, and I actually don't know if it ever even came with a lid. But I've got a couple of other lids that I have used on it, but I only ever used them on the electric stove in the kitchen there, and I just don't know how well a glass lid would fare on an actual wood fire. So I opted not to use it because I didn't want to, meat's kind of expensive these days, and I just didn't want to take a chance of, ruining a pound of expensive meat. Now, as soon as that meat's nearly done, I want to tell you, YouTube, I know sausage is one of the pork sausage is one of the most unhealthy meats you can buy and eat. So what I do is I'll put it on the stove in a pan of water after I've cooked it. I'll dump just everything in there, grease and everything, and I'll boil it in water, and I'll do that twice to get some of that extra grease out of the meat, and to try to preserve my health. I know this is the South, but now that we know these things aren't so healthy for us, we here in the South, we actually are trying to, you know, keep our traditional Southern foods, but eat them well, I'm trying to keep some of our traditional Southern foods, but I'm trying to eat them in a more healthy manner. Now, I've not checked my blood pressure in probably 5, 6 years now, but the last time I checked it, I was over 30. In fact, I'm pretty sure I was over 35, which I'm 44 now, so I'm pretty sure I was near 40. And at my age, you would expect your blood pressure to be at least somewhat slightly elevated. My blood pressure is actually low, and I contributed that to all of these years of not pouring salt on my food from a shaker, and also doing this, staying the hell away from greasy foods like that.